Sup, Bootip? Apparently I got totally cut off toward the end of this video. So, this will be like a 2.5 or possibly a part 3, depending on how long. But anyway, I remember saying that the survivors managed to kill what other walkers that from the herd that did not get barbecued, right? And, I was talking about how, I was talking about, like, Carl getting shot and comparing it to Beth. I don't know, like, quite honestly, if Carl could get shot in the eye, and he's actually responsive and, like, alive, obviously, because he responded, I'm pretty sure Beth could survive. I'm just saying, like, look at what happened this episode. Like, pretty much no one died. Well, Jessie and her 2 sons obviously died, but I mean from the main group, not an Alexandrian. You know, like Rick's group. No one died. There were so many close calls with Glenn, whether it's this episode or the one where we all thought he died near the dumpster. But no, his ass is alive. And his chances were so much more low than Beth's. I mean, come on. And then we got Carl getting shot in the face. And I mean, from that trajectory, I'm just saying, man, Carl got hit in the eye. And he's obviously alive because he grasped his dad's hand. He's obviously alive. And they seen Chandler Riggs on set with his face like half covered with like a cloth. So, and he's walking around. So he's obviously alive. And it's like, Beth's death did not make sense to me. It really didn't, because the way Dawn's gun was pointed didn't look like the shot that hit the back of her head. I'm just saying, like, trajectory was wrong, and, you know, it is possible to get shot in the head and have it miss something, you know. It's a miracle shot. I'm gonna call it the Hail Mary miracle shot, but it is possible to survive it, and it's possible to actually survive getting shot in the head. I mean, look at Carl. He got shot in the face. I mean, come on. I'm just saying. I'm ranting right now, because it's like, I'm pretty sure my friends, my Walking Dead family, I call them my Walking Dead family, because they're awesome like that. They will agree with me that if Carl could get shot in the face and survive, I'm pretty damn sure Beth could. Because I saw Beth's the shooting with Beth again to determine her odds, and I have nurses and doctors in my family. And even they told me it's a possibility that she could live. And if actual doctors and nurses could tell me that, come on! I'm just saying! Anyway, but this is not really a part 3. This is honestly like me just ranting. It's so episode 9 of season 6. Despite it, like, I'm still team delusional. Despite that, it was actually a very interesting episode. I thought it was, I thought there was gonna be more to the saviors. Honestly, Negan's little group of biker saviors that stopped Abraham, Sasha, and Daryl. I thought there was gonna be more to it. I thought that, like, I literally thought I thought either 1 or 2 or even possibly all 3 of them could possibly have died with the saviors there. In my opinion, like, when we first saw the saviors and the little leader of the biker gang, he's, like, telling them to give their weapons and all, because it belongs to Negan. I honestly thought that maybe, like, Abraham or even Daryl might cause a fight that ends up getting, like, 1 or all of them killed somehow. I don't know. And when they said, give us all your weapons and everything, I literally thought they meant every weapon, like guns, even knives. And that's what I was worried about, because I thought, you know, while they're giving their guns and possibly their knives, you know, the main biker dude could see, like, the knife that Daryl has, Beth's knife, that Daryl has on his waistline. I thought that, you know, he would want knives, and the moment he sees the knife, Beth's knife on Daryl, he'd be like, and that one too, give me that knife. And I thought, you know, Daryl would, like, freak out, because that's the only thing he has of Beth. And he'd be like, no, you're not taking this knife. You can take everything else but the knife, right? I literally thought Daryl's gonna go, hey shit, with the possibility of that guy taking Beth's knife from him. I really thought that was gonna happen. But they died pretty damn quick. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did, for a moment, I did actually forget that Abraham did have that rocket launcher. I actually did forget about that for a while until Daryl used it like a ninja and killed the entire gang. But not gonna lie, Daryl taking out that one biker in the back of the truck was so quiet that I was actually kind of worried, you know what I mean? Like, if there was a scuffle, we could have heard it. Abraham or Sasha could have heard it because they're closer to the truck. Or, considering that the rest of the bikers were facing that way in front of the truck, they could probably see maybe they got in a scuffle, but apparently didn't see a scuffle. But I was worried about Daryl because it was really quiet when Daryl and that biker were in the back of the truck. I'm just saying. And, I give props to Father Gabriel for finally growing some balls. I'm not trying to be mean to Father Gabriel, but, like, him actually fighting back was a relief. And also seeing that with Eugene, like, even Rosita had her doubts about Eugene fighting back. And, seeing Eugene actually take up not being a wuss and, like, fighting alongside everybody, and seeing Father Gabriel, out of everyone, Father Gabriel and Eugene are the two that no one really expects to fight back. Because, you know, Father Gabriel goes with the whole religious thing, like God will save us and all that stuff, so he doesn't physically fight. And you get Eugene, who's kind of like a wuss. But, like, seeing both of them step up and actually fight alongside everybody and actually pretty much kick ass was a very cool thing. And also seeing Father Gabriel, like, take responsibility of taking care of Judith and safely transporting her to the church was a very nice thing to see, too. And, seeing that slight change of heart with the wolf was actually a very interesting thing, mainly because, again, like I said in the previous episode, he could have straight up left Denise both times. The first time, he could have just left Denise to the walker and just climb up that ladder and just forget about her, leave her to the walker to die. But he, not only did he help her, he ended up getting bitten helping her. And he even went along to go with her to save him, for her to save him, and helps her again by, like, tackling a couple of them. Even getting shot by Carol, he still tackled them. So, I don't know if it was Denise or even, what's his face? Oh god, I forgot his name. That is so bad. Hang on. This is so bad. I actually forgot his name. Morgan! I don't know if it was Morgan or Denise, but one of those two managed to change the wolf's heart slightly enough to the point where he saves Denise. So, I don't know if that's the work of Denise or Morgan, but bravo to that. And, we also saw that Carol actually witnessed the wolf actually save Denise, you know, sacrifice himself. So maybe she might have somewhat of a change of heart seeing that. I don't know, because she witnessed that firsthand, and when she saw that despite the fact that he was shot, he tackled the walker and told Denise to run to safety. She witnessed all that. You actually saw in her face that she was actually in shock that this wolf was willing to sacrifice himself for Denise's safety. So, I don't know, maybe that might loosen her perspective, I don't know. Or on Morgan, you know, changing the wolf and stuff like that, and anything, honestly. You saw that firsthand. And then there's, Jessie and her kids, man. Not gonna lie to you, I admire Carol from her transformation from the first time we saw her up until now. She's become very strong, but at the point where she's almost like a robot, almost. Like, the feelings are just gone. Like, she went from overly feeling to absolutely no feeling at all. And it's kind of worrying me, like, she's turning herself into what people presume a weak, abused woman. I completely admire her getting stronger, but I don't want her to get so strong that she literally freezes her heart or turns herself into a freaking heartless robot. I'm really not liking that turn she's turning to. I want her to have at least a couple of feelings. I know that she wants to protect the group and all that stuff, and she has to do what's necessary, but she's becoming heartless, kind of. And, at the same time, like, it was Carol's words to Sam, Jesse's youngest son, Sam, that managed to freak him out. Because if you guys remember, during that whole thing, like, when Father Gabriel was volunteering to take Judith to the safety of the church, freaking, what you call it? Jesse told Sam to go with Father Gabriel, but he wanted to stay with her. He's like, I'm okay, I want to be with you, Mom, and he seemed just fine up until when they were walking. All of a sudden, Sam's looking at the walkers, and all of a sudden Carol's voice is echoing in his head. And because of that, it's like, quite honestly, the reason why Sam freaked out was technically Carol's fault, because he was perfectly fine walking around up until Carol's voice was echoing in his head. So, quite honestly, I think if Carol never said those things to Sam, he wouldn't have panicked as much as he did. Hence, he would not have gotten killed. Him getting killed ended up getting his mother killed, and in the process, his older brother ends up pointing a gun at Rick and Carl, which causes Michonne to kill him. So quite honestly, if Carol did not put those words in poor Sam's head, I think he would have been better off. I think he would have had freaked out as bad to the point where he got killed. And if Carol's words were not in his head, he probably would not gotten killed that easily, and Jesse and Ron could have still been alive. I'm just saying. But anyway, that is my thoughts. I don't know about you guys, but and another thing I wanted to point out was Enid. If you guys remember in the comic books, Carol in the comics is dead, and her daughter Sophia in the comics, Sophia is still alive in the Alexandria world. And if you remember in the comics, since Sophia is alive and Carol's dead in the comics, Maggie and Glenn pretty much become the adopted parents of Sophia in the comic books. At the same time, Maggie has her 2-year-old son. In the comic books, like again, in the comic books, Carol's dead, Sophia's alive, Maggie and Glenn adopt Sophia, and Maggie gives birth to a son who they call Herschel II, and Glenn is dead. Got beaten to death by Negan. And I know we haven't seen Negan yet, he has been casted, so there's a possibility that Glenn being beaten to death by Negan in the comics might still happen in the show, because we still haven't seen Negan. And Maggie is pregnant, so she could still have her son, just like in the comics, and he might be named Herschel II, just like in the comics. Those are still possibility, especially since Maggie is still pregnant, and Glenn is still alive, and Negan has yet to be seen. So, Maggie giving birth to a son, and that son being named Herschel II is still a possibility. Negan beating Glenn to death still is also a possibility. But the only difference is, in the comics, Carol is dead and Sophia is alive. And right now, that's complete opposite. Sophia is the one that's dead and Carol is still alive. But there could be a Sophia in the show in terms of Enid, because in the comics, like I said, Sophia was pretty much adopted by Maggie and Glenn because Carol was dead. That might happen with Enid. If you guys remember, Enid is quite close to Glenn now, and Maggie, you'll never know. Glenn and Maggie might actually adopt Enid into their family and, you know, be their adopted daughter and be the adopted sister of Maggie and Glenn's future kid. She could be literally the TV version of comic book Sophia, the adopted daughter of Glenn and Maggie. And that possibly might happen. That might be the case. So, I don't know. Put your things in the comment. What did you think about Jessie and her kids' death? What did you guys think about the survivors and the Rick's group and the Alexandrians taking back Alexandria, the fire? Just, what are your thoughts? And, like, do you think Carol could redeem herself and become more human? Or Morgan, any changes? Just put your comments in there. See you guys in the next video.